Well, the women started proceedings for the 14th Ishigaki ITU Triathlon World Cup as they took to the water in the small harbour, been sealed off from the Pacific Ocean just to keep the sharks out, but the main worry for the competitors was the speed of the swim, and it was really taken on hard by the Japanese athletes who really wanted to put forward a point in front of their home crowd. As we came through on the first swim lap, one of the athletes really started taking it out, but it was actually Melanie Anaheim who found a better line into the beach. The Swiss athlete then taking the swim preem and $500 US, quite a nice little paycheck, by crossing that mat there, the preem line, and she led the athletes back in for the second lap of the swim. Also coming through the shot then we had Nikki Samuels from New Zealand, who was looking to have a strong race in the non-wetsuit conditions, really suiting the athletes who have come off a southern hemisphere summer as opposed to a northern hemisphere winter. They're well acclimatised to the weather and the conditions and the warm waters. So looking forward then, the Japanese went straight to the front again as Nakashima led out of the swim and into transition, and a small breakaway pack had formed very nicely, and they really started to work well together as we see them all dashing out of the harbour. And towards the back of that pack was Juri Ide, the Japanese woman who had a fantastic 2008 with a 5th place finish at the Beijing Olympic Games, and she was really out to make a mark on the field today and show that, you know, she is one of the new up-and-coming stars of the sport. So onto the bike, Dimitreva of Russia went towards a 4, putting in a big gear to try and drive themselves away from the chasing pack, which included Canada's Lauren Groves, always a dangerous athlete. Towards the back of that pack then, the front pack was Kiyomi Nawata, the veteran of 3 Olympic Games and a double Ishigaki Triathlon World Cup medalist. She was looking for her 3rd World Cup podium here in Ishigaki in front of the home crowd. Here we look at the chase pack then, Spearing of Canada and Groves of Canada, working well together along with Frambung of Germany. But looking back towards the front pack again, and we look at Nikki Samuels and Dimitreva on the front of the bike, along with Kiyomi Nawata, keeping them in close contact. And she really sort of kept a check on everything today. Didn't let any breaks go, and didn't let anybody disappear off the front. She was really showing her experience out there through the streets of Ishigaki. Further back, the other Japanese athletes was a lot of them making their debuts of the World Cup scene here today, and putting in some very good performances. As we take a look at Lauren Groves again, really pushing a big gear as she tried to bridge that gap up to the leaders, and eventually she would do that as just a couple of laps of the bike remaining. They managed to get back in touch and back in contact as they led in towards transition 2, where we pick it up with Cathy Tremblay from Montreal in Canada leading them in, and she was looking for another strong finish, having finished 5th here last year in a battle, incidentally, with Juri Ide, the Japanese star. So Anamura as well, the Spaniard, was right towards the fore of this, and she went straight to the front on the run and really tried to work hard up the bridge and the hill, which was such a characteristic of this course. Taking a look at Juri Ide then, a bit of a slow transition for her. She didn't get the best of lines coming in off the bike, but she was straight towards the front as well, as we pick up the action with Kiyomi Nawata, the experienced Japanese veteran, taking them on up the hill. So Cathy Tremblay and Juri Ide were probably the 2 favourites out of this little pack. They had been having some good battles over the previous 2008 years, and it was Ide who put the ultimate surge in with a couple of kilometres to go, and only Tremblay could respond. Nawata was grinding out through her running gears behind as she tried to stay away from Anamura, who was having a fantastic race for Spain just behind, and really it became down a race of 2 as Juri Ide and Cathy Tremblay headed towards the finish. The home support really gathering behind Juri, who's had such a fantastic year in 2008 and become a real local hero. The press conference was buzzing when she turned up on the day before the race, and lots of people out on the streets to give her their support. Kiyomi Nawata then as well, really battling through the conditions. It was started quite chilly for the women, and not particularly characteristic of Ishigaki. However, there was a period during the race where the sun really came out and the wind got up, as we can see by the flags in the background, and it really started to punish the athletes. So Juri Ide then led into the home straight with Cathy Tremblay in quite close contention, but it was always going to go one way, and that was Ide for the win, as she realised about halfway down the straight she was going to win her 1st World Cup and take her first step on the podium. And what a better way to do it than a gold medal at home in front of a fantastic supporting Japanese crowd. And she was delighted with that victory, as were the media, as we can see the hundreds of photographers who had come up onto the course, both amateur and professional. The first athlete to go and congratulate her though was Tremblay, who's enjoyed some great battles with Ide here over the years, and Kiyomi Nawata held on for 3rd position. Her fantastic performance from her in picking up her 3rd Ishigaki medal.
The last lap, it did a move, so we break the 2 other girls, and I stayed with her. So after that, I looked behind, and I was just like, all right, there's the 2 of us again, like last year, because she finished 4th and I finished 5th. So at the end, I just, okay, I'll save my kick for the end, but she did it first, and she won the gold. She did a good race, and I'm pretty happy with mine too.
I'm very happy I got the podium again, and I love Ishigaki, so people cheering me a lot, so it helps a lot. Thank you.
So Juri Ide stood on the top step of the podium for the first time at a World Cup event, delighting home support in Japan, and we look forward to seeing how she gets on next week in Tongyong.